Well, hello people, welcome back to part 64 of Orchid Bay. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Lots of thanks for all the support on the oil industry. You guys really enjoyed our big vanilla asset oil refinery, and how nice did those airport refueling tankers turn out. But today we're actually heading back to a part of the map we really haven't touched on yet, heading back over Imperator's Air Force Base to work actually on another military installation for Orchid Bay. We're going to be attempting for the very first time a vanilla naval base, which should be a very interesting build. Some really unique and creative repurposing of assets here today that I'm quite happy with. So really unique space to work with. Today prepared this kind of port for us. So let's turn it into a vanilla asset naval base, shall we? Should be a lot of fun, this one. So today's build, everyone, is going to be extraordinarily unique. One I've never attempted before, but one that we should have a lot of fun with, I hope. So let's first of all come to our lane direction. So I reckon a bit of highway road here, serving as a touch of national road spy, should do quite well. And we do have kind of an exit lined up here actually, although now looking at it, it could be a possibility we want to upgrade this into 2 directional now. Because if people are going to be coming back out the naval base here, I don't really want them having to drive all the way around JC Sandals Cargo and Co. Of course. So let's grab that national road. And we're just going to meander this now, basically to follow the rail all the way down toward that naval base location. Cool, so that gives us our connection down into the area so we can provide services and access and whatnot. And maybe down the line, as we expand this area of the map, we can look at a separate interchange over here to kind of bring in more connectivity, but I guess with a naval base, kind of just one secure entrance might be enough. I guess we'll have to wait and see, I think. But either way, I love a 4-lane industrial road coming up here. So let's align with the keys that Sidai left in for us. And we'll run this straight through the heart of the base. This will essentially be the main thing to access whatever is going to lie over here today. And I think it'd be rude, of course, not to include a toll booth here. Let's go for 2 directional. And might actually go for the large one here. It's one that we don't really use that often, but I think as a kind of larger, impressive security entrance, it does do a job for us, doesn't it? Let's bring this industrial road down, straight out, and we'll connect in here. So we could end up doing a roundabout at this point, but to be honest, I think just a couple of little slip roads would probably be enough here just to create a bit of a country junction. I don't mind the rail crossing. This cargo line isn't enormously busy anyway, so it shouldn't be a problem, but we'll keep our eye on it. We might need to elevate this today. So we'll have a little slip lane there. We can bring this one down to be just 2 lane now. There we go. And we'll leave that there because that might do something eventually. There's not really too much map for it to go to. If anything, maybe a tunnel through the mountain here to get into this space over here, which I have no idea what we're going to do with this. This is a really unique area, isn't it? Little path on top of the key there. So again, I'll ask you guys, what on earth lies here? Maybe one of the monuments, or like a super unique building or something? Maybe one of the space launch sites, maybe a shuttle launch site over here. Space Center for Orchid Bay, maybe, might be appropriate. Let me know. It's a very unique space, that one, isn't it? Either way, this now gives us some footing to start placing some assets. So let's kind of refer really to the main theme of today, which is going to be the naval yard. And you probably would have seen some testing in the opening cinematic, and that was, of course, the shipyard, which we have to include. Just because of the shape of this, I think it would be wonderful to have it pretty much lined up in the middle of these 2 old factories here, which we are going to keep in. You guys had some great ideas as well for kind of turning this into gentrified commercial, but I really wanted to try a naval base, and this just lends itself so well to it, doesn't it? So this thing wants plain timber, plastic, glass, and metal to work, which is a lot of supplies. So let's have a little look what's going on. So the rotary kiln plants are only using ore, which is being stored in pretty large quantities over here. They should be getting a delivery soon, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. He's just come and delivered it from ore storage, hasn't he? So metal is being produced fairly locally. What else was it that it wanted too? Also wants glass. Now if we're storing a lot of ore storage here, then it's going to make sense for us to have a glass production over here as well, isn't it? Again, at which point I might as well just extend this industrial area. But do we want to set up a new one here today? I think we might do. I think rather than extending that industrial area, we will go ahead and do a new one because we've been extending that one for ages now. Let's just go and make a new one. So let's go into ore. We will grab ourselves the ore industry main building. And we do actually have ore here, don't we? Would you look at that, everyone? That then leads us to the possibility to finally use the seabed mining vessel as part of our naval yard, because it's a boat and we never get to use this. So that is interesting, isn't it? So let's extend our industrial area here. I'm going to name this today one of our wonderful Patreon subscribers, Felix Wilkinson, absolute legend of the people, became a golden egg, what a hero. We'll go for the Felix Naval Yard today here as well. Thank you for your support, Felix, really appreciate it, buddy. And we're going to have the industry named after that anyway, so really keen to see how we can possibly factor in the seabed mining vessel. That sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it? So let's just place it in, let's have a look at this thing, because it's something I never ever use. But this is really what I'm interested in over here, right? I want to get this factored into my naval base. So it is technically within the ore deposit here. Is that because it's closer to that one? I mean, I guess so. I guess that's why it's there, isn't it? But just that aesthetic for a naval, because we're going to have to be quite creative with the use of the assets today, so I think we can get on board with that. Let's go ahead and grab some more road. It would be really good if we could provide it off of the shipyard down there. That would make it a little bit easier to hook things in, wouldn't it? Which it absolutely will do. We'll keep that going as well, kind of in parallel with the, I guess you call these keys, right? Just kind of the big key walls coming out here. So that's going to be good enough for me. So I'm wondering if we can finagle him along so much that he does actually begin to collect the ore here. Yeah, its production rate just increased over there and it's now actually collecting ore, so that should work. Although I do need to terraform that waterway a little bit there. So at least it gives us a boat in a vanilla, doesn't it? I think I'm on board with that generally. It kind of looks like it's almost docked as well, I guess. I'd love a couple more of those if at all possible, but again, they're only going to work where we put ore down. We can also place another one here. Now again, the orientation there is near perfect, isn't it? How about that? Although it does mean we're going to have to lose one of the gentrified factories though. Which I think I'm okay with, at least we can keep one of them. So let's just get a shot of you. And then we'll bring in that road connection again for this one this time. Splendid work. So these guys are going to be producing ore locally for the shipyard now. Which we can now turn into glass and metal. So we'll factor in the glass and metal buildings into our naval yard as well. We'll definitely position them kind of on and around this waterfront here. So how big is the glass manufacturing plant, or the fiberglass plant really? It looks like it's about the width actually of the quay. So let's bring this down. We'll go ahead and bring some frames in. And can we have you here? No, you're just a little too wide. That's okay though. What we will do is delete that. And then we'll just flip the orientation around. We'll have that there, and then let's put the fiberglass plant this way. And hopefully this doesn't look too out of place. I don't want this to just turn into another sort of cargo yard. I want it to try and be at least somewhat military themed, I guess, is the take-home point today. But those boats in the water are very much helping, aren't they? Cool, so there we go, coming from the seabed mining vessel, now delivering to the fiberglass plant. That supply chain's starting to kick in now, and both of these are producing ore for us as well. So glass has been sourced locally. Now let's have a look at metal. The rotary kiln plants are enormous, so I'd rather not use those if possible. Which only leaves the option for the ore grinding mill, which is not really in the theme here, is it? So I think, actually, having just said that, the rotary kilns are a little bit too dominant. They're probably going to have to be the only choice here to get metals produced locally, aren't they? Cannot build on water. I think you'll find it's not on water. That's probably just a terraforming issue, isn't it? Let's go ahead and widen out the landmass beneath the quay. That should help it settle in a little bit. There we go. Would you look at that? That is one of the best examples of it fits, it sits, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. So this one's a little more industrial looking, but if it's going to produce metal locally for us, then that's a win in my book. Let's make sure we remove that terrain again there as well. Fabulous. So now metal and glass both produced locally. So plain timber we're going to have to import. How much are we producing from the one and only forestry area we've got in the city? Which is tree with leaves #1 forestry. Plain timber. Getting 15 tons out of that. I take it it's mostly being stored around here, is it? There must be warehouses here storing it. Yeah, there's a lot of it there. That is a fair old drive for them though to get that plain timber over here, isn't it? But I think it's okay. We'll just give it a large warehouse, that way we can build up quite a stockpile. It's just going to take a little bit of time for that stockpile to actually happen, to actually generate in. So we're going to love to start positioning some chunky, more important infrastructure in and around the shipyard in particular. So I reckon that's where we can get away with having our warehouse. So if we're going to bring it out here, how much room do we have to play with? That's going to settle in quite nicely there, isn't it? You will store plain timber, please. Again, I think it's really important we check from all angles with today's build. Super unique, but so far it's actually looking too bad, is it, with only 4 or 5 assets in there. It's starting to come together. I like this fact we can see the trains moving behind it too. It's going to be interesting as well, isn't it, just to see how busy this road gets. There's someone coming, a couple of people coming down it now. I don't know what you guys are doing. Can we have a little investigation here? Airport cargo train station is delivering plastic products to the shipyard. That is interesting, isn't it? So our airport cargo station is importing plastic for the shipyard. Which is very nice. I'm happy with that functionality. In that case, if that continues to happen like that, rather than actually looking at producing plastic locally with an extension of the oil area, because we could definitely do that. What are our plastic producing assets? We could get our naphtha cracker plant in here as well. We could definitely have that over here. Or we just bring in another rail yard, but there's already so much pressure though on the train system in Orchid Bay. I don't really want another import hub here. So there we go, there's the blue truck. Plastics now delivered. Okay, that's fine then. So I think what we will do here is I want to move the positioning of my warehouse over to this side. Because I think what we're going to do over on this bit of the entrance is have kind of the living quarters for the naval soldiers. Not soldiers, are they? Sailors, I guess? Naval sailors, is that what you would call them? I guess so. Yeah, so let's go ahead and upgrade that road hierarchy again. We can delete that one there. That's fine. That's producing plain timber. And we'll also drop another warehouse in. Let's go for... I guess we could do this one, you know, couldn't we? That wouldn't be a bad shout, actually, you know, would it, for a bit of plastic import, because there is that rail yard in the oil industry. And if my calculations are correct, we should be storing plastic here. Yeah, there's a load of plastic stored up right outside this. So we can probably move them from industrial area to industrial area via rail. So having just backtracked on my decision to not include a rail yard, I think we will include a rail warehouse that does store plastic. So we'll see how that goes. So I believe with these assets, you can actually come straight out of them, can't you? Which is pretty cool, but not really needed, because I only want it to come out this angle, which is fine. So let's bring this into the rail line. We'll come up alongside it, and then get a nice little connection in. Wonderful. So that now supplies one of our factories. Now I don't think I want another factory over here, we should be okay. Starting to burn through them all, aren't we now? And again, the electronics factory wants plastic, glass and metal as well, so do we also include that over here? It's not a bad shout, is it? How big is this? It's thick, isn't it? This is a large boy, the electronics factory. If we were to place it down, just have a little look, see. It's going to blend in, I think, isn't it? It just looks like a, maybe, sort of indoor processing centre where bits for the actual shipyard are built before they're brought into the actual shipyard itself, maybe? If you wanted to somehow justify it. Starting to build a ship now as well, which is very exciting, isn't it? That. Very cool. Hopefully we can bump this up to 150% because this makes a ton of money, this factory. Likewise with this one as well, if we can get it all stocked. But I'm on board with it, I think. I do like it here. So let's bring in the electronics factory into the equation. And we'll have this knocking in and around our warehouses over here. think it's going to complement them quite well, isn't it? We'll have this one here, facing on the main sort of street this side. Although I think a little switch in orientation there actually might be quite welcome in terms of just switching the factory with the warehouse. Oh, there we go. That's going to be some quite nice orientation there, isn't it? Having that warehouse right up against the factory there. You can generate some very interesting spaces in vanilla by doing this. Angles of every building is important after all. Anyway, that's still starting to get quite chunky there, isn't it? So I'll say again, I don't think I want any more factories in here, but you never know. Yeah, we'll do sneaker factory elsewhere. I definitely want the car factory to be its own facility as well. Don't want this in here. I won't put clothing in here either. Lemonade, no. And then the other ones are fairly small, so I think that'll be it for factories. Now, with these industrial builds, I always like to check other sort of needs for the city. So we've got garbage here. We do have decent garbage processing status in the city. I don't think there's a need to expand it just yet. Although the nearest garbage processing, yeah, it's only over by the port. It's not like they've got ages to travel to process that here, so we don't think we need garbage. Fishing could be another interesting waterfront addition, especially if we wanted them to be actually functioning as the fishing harbours do in terms of just catching or just giving some more activity to the water. Which again, now I'm seeing the kind of chunky fish in the tuna harbour here. I think we might want a tuna harbour within the facility itself, right? Is that out of the question? I don't think it is. Although I did just notice I put in the wrong fishing harbour, so now we have shellfish harbours. Cool. So that's kind of the naval sort of waterfront I was happy with there. One thing I do want to check out before we move on to the living quarters for today is the use of airport apron over here. How flexible are we? They will clash with the gentrified factory, which I'm not massively fond about. I would prefer that to remain, so we'll have to be careful with these, but I would like a fair bit of concrete knocking around. At the shipyard in particular, all around here as well. Concrete that with some apron, and then this will probably be a little bit more difficult, won't it? But let's also give a road connection here as well, actually, for... Let's have a look at those shellfish boats. They do look a little more kind of trawlery, don't they? But again, the aesthetic of just boats moving around in and around the naval yard is really what they're there for. So I'm happy with that, I think. I think I'm going to enjoy that. Although we do have this happening now, which I was worried about. Looking like a rail embankment might be the most sensible choice here. We'll keep our eye on it. I imagine it's just because we've got stuff being stocked up at the warehouses that it's now starting to panic a little bit. We'll just wait and see how it handles. So here you go, yeah, here's a freight train coming from the warehouse with rail connection. Now bringing more plastics into our warehouse. That's really cool now actually to see a proper functioning cargo train system importing goods to a different area to help supply a factory. Big fan of that. That's very cool. Cool. But otherwise, let's turn our attention towards the living quarters, which most of it is going to be made up of Bad Peanuts sports packs and the worker barracks, because they kind of look like actual military barracks, which is perfect for this build. Yeah, these ones here. Let's have a look at them. Yeah, absolutely tailor-made for this, aren't they? So let's go for 210 there. We'll do another 240 up this side. And then we can have some barracks there. Spin these across. We'll do a little dirt pathway between them, I think. To actually get the next set in. Boom. And then we can do that pathway right in between. Which actually should flesh out that dirt texture that's on the bottom of the barracks themselves. Yeah, and I reckon just a few rows of these will probably do us a decent enough job. Let's go ahead and get in that sports venue asset anyway, or the... So what's the most naval of all the sports? I want to say baseball for some reason. For some unknown reason, maybe it's a film I've seen, I'm more aligning American football with the army. So I'm sure we're going to get some Navy people in the comments today telling us which one is the most appropriate. But I think San Francisco has a big kind of naval base, doesn't it? and San Francisco is really big on baseball. There's the 49ers there, is there? I have no concept of American sport. I'm probably triggering an enormous amount of people right now. But it'll be okay. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Cool. So we'll have the baseball pitch. Again, we'll wrap that up with a little bit of road. So we come in there. That's fine. And then hopefully we can just continue our little worker barracks pattern out this way, which it looks like we pretty much can actually. Again, we'll just check the lengths there that we need 450 for that. So we'll just redraw that in so we make sure we get that perfect pattern in. We'll do 450 and then bring that one down. And then let's get these worker barracks all set up. It's always an immense amount of fun trying to repurpose vanilla assets like this. It's been a kind of a similar process recently with our Thessia build as well, trying to do the embassies. So if you haven't tried it before, just thinking differently about an asset and trying to repurpose it into something that it isn't is a really fun way to approach the game, in my opinion. Again, we'll do that pattern over here again. Hopefully we can hit 450. Oh, just about. That is absolutely perfect, isn't it? And then we can surround our baseball pitch here with... Oh, very nearly we can. That's quite irritating, isn't it? But it's an irritant I think we can live with. We'll have these ones here, and then we can just have the path come down the side. Again, we'll connect in our road networks, and now we can make these paths functional, hopefully. Of course, all these are actually going to increase efficiency of the industrial area itself, aren't they? So we're at 160% work efficiency now because of all these barracks. So that should just help more ore extraction and glass and metal production as well. Can we bring you up here? Will you just jump through? No, you won't, but that's fine though. Just do that. Very nice. And I guess we should probably bring this road back in as well. What we will do actually, can we just connect it in here? Yeah, we can. We'll just do some further detailing in here, maybe a couple of benches and whatnot for general recreational outdoor time for any sailors that are not on duty. Yeah, it's very convincing that, isn't it? Just, they look so much like barracks, these assets here. Then we can have that centered around our baseball pitch. Next to our main building, which hopefully actually will eventually change shape, because they do change as they level up. I imagine this just wants the resources. It will actually tick over with workers eventually. But would you look at that though? Well, you boys saw the shellfish. So we're getting a lot of fish export, which is fine. I don't mind fish being exported. But if there's a way we could process that, that'd probably be better. But we've only got two choices really, haven't we? We've got the fish factory, which is already used. Oh, there's the seafood factory, sorry, which is over in Sharon. Or the fish market. The fish market I don't think belongs here. But there is possibly consideration for the fish factory. If we wanted to tuck you right into the corner here, would I be offended by that? We have this end exposed to the factory and the warehouse. It kind of completes that little industrial view there, doesn't it? Which I don't think I mind that really. So I think we'll process a little bit of fish on site then in that case, rather than exporting it in such enormous quantities like we are over there. We almost certainly need to embank this rail now. The traffic is only getting worse. But either way, that feels like actually a good chunk of our assets down. It feels like a good footing for a detail in town. So we'll do lots more service painter, probably some industrial zoning around here as well. Although there is no demand to help it come in at the minute. Not surprised actually with how much industry we've done recently. But embank it, bring some forest around it, bit of fencing as a perimeter, also some watchtowers as well as a bit of security. And then just kind of round off the road network here, bring this natural forest back in and see how we can do to detail up a hopefully finished and functional plus aesthetically pleasing vanilla naval base. So let's do some detailing and then we'll be right back. Alright guys, let's have a little detailed review, shall we? So this area's turned into a really cool blend of industry and service assets to create a vanilla naval yard. So there's some fence and tree detailing with some classic security tower designs. Outside the front of the entrance with a police station here as well, plus some parking. And now our barrack patterns sit totally enveloped with a radio mast over here as well. And that classic Orchid Bay forest boundary broke between the facility and the train line over here. You'll notice a new asset in here as well. We've gone for the super large natural disaster response unit with the helipads on it. And it's really cool actually to see the helicopters arriving and leaving from here too. So, and it adds an extra military theme on it as well when we can see those helicopters coming and going. So really happy with that. Got a baseball pitch site in here as well. Fish factory serves as another bit of kind of service industry as well for the fish coming out of the harbours a bit further down. Dropped in a maintenance building. Brought in a road around the edge of the factory alongside near our mining bed vessels over here as well, which is such a cool addition into a naval base. I think this could be, I don't think I've actually placed this asset, you know, since Berguzia that long ago. So it's like ages ago we even placed this. Even then, was it Berguzia? I'm thinking about the oil one maybe. But either way, just a really cool use of the asset I think to have this sat here. And the 5 West plant blends in quite nicely next to the other one over here as well. Hop over, our ships are still being built, the factories are both staying pretty well stocked with what they need to make money, so I'm happy to say that they're not kind of at the production yet where they can have 150%, but they are both staying stocked and making us a load of cash, which is nice. So we got this over here now outside our warehouses, done a bit of a pattern design with some plazas outside the front of the steps of the natural disaster response unit. I think it's just a really nice sort of addition into the naval yard facilities, and it kind of makes it look like a sort of Navy headquarters building, I guess, is the purpose of this asset here. I think it's pretty cool. Ignore the fact that they are building a cruise ship. Let's pretend this is a destroyer or an aircraft carrier or something. Then we'll come down here behind the asset. We've just extended some kind of old defunct rail yard vibes out. Maybe there used to be a bit of a delivery function here before the warehouse was set up. So kind of just set that up there with kind of old rail lines peeling off to fill some space. I dropped in one of the Japanese office assets that we get from Railroads of Japan. And then more car parking over here too before we arrive at the larger factory. Which again, all the little assets and angles around here really help to detail the space, don't they? So I really like how all this came together. Our warehouse is quickly filling it with plain timber to keep everyone nice and stocked. Got a mineral storage dome in here as well from the ore industry stuff. Just to help fill a bit of space with lots of surface painter, and then car parking actually around here, over down by the fishing marinas, which are serving that purpose of just making the waterways look a little bit busier around the edge of a naval base, like it is, you know, actual military vessels coming and going from the base itself, which is really cool. And it's a pretty small kind of micro compact build, but super unique, definitely a theme we've never tried before on the channel. But it came out pretty nicely, I think, overall, and this little sightline right here is probably my favourite after it was all said and done. But otherwise, guys, that is going to do it for today. Let's thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, likes, comments and shares below really do help me out. Equally, if you haven't enjoyed it, please feel free to leave me a dislike as well. Hope you're all enjoying the CS2 content on the channel. I know there's some kind of reservations about Cities 2 at the minute with what's been announced and how it looks like it's going to launch, which is tomorrow by the time you guys see this video. So expect some more modular build style videos, tutorials and tier list out on Cities 2. I might be making a post about my build series, but keep your eye on the community tab for that. Otherwise, back to Cities 1, really happy with the attempt at a vanilla naval base. Totally unique area. Thank you for the suggestion of building this when we asked a couple of episodes ago. I'd never really thought of this otherwise, but some really nice creative use of vanilla assets today, like we always try and do in Orchid Bay, so I hope you have enjoyed it. Please do enjoy your cinematics, but I'll shut up and leave it there. And thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.